Hello, and welcome to the Table Football Podcast, a podcast set up to discuss both football and Roundtable. Roundtable and Ladies Circle are national organisations which aim to raise money for local charities, support their local communities, and promote lifelong friendships which span across towns, counties, and nations. If you are between the ages of 18 and 45, are looking to do more with your spare time, enhance your social life, and do some positive things for your local community, Roundtable and Ladies Circle are always looking for new members. Visit our website at www.roundtable.co.uk for more information. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Table Football Podcast. This week it is the Christmas special episode. You can do your best Santa impression, Tris. That's terrible.
Oh,
That's also terrible.
That's all you get. I refuse to do Santa anymore.
So we've made it to December. If you're listening to this, it should be at some point between Christmas and New Year's. So I hope you all had a excellent Christmas day and are full of chocolates and presents and other things that Santa's brought.
And so slightly pissed. That's the important thing. It's table after all.
So we've got some great guests to welcome with us today. We're going to do some discussions as we usually do about the roundtables that they're a part of, but also the football clubs they support, and then we're going to do a sort of an extended quiz, Christmas special quiz, which I will explain later, which you can actually participate in if you want at home as well. So there we go. So without further ado,
inclusive.
Yeah. We'll see how well it works.
Developing.
So anyway, without further ado, let's bring the guests in. So first and foremost, we welcome Andy Norris from Redditch Roundtable.
Hi guys.
How you doing?
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, very good.
And our second guest is Mr. Adam Fitt from Todwick and Anston Roundtable, and it's also the, I'm going to get this wrong, you're going to have to introduce yourself, international extraordinaire.
Maybe not quite. International Region Chairman for Central and Eastern Europe. Evening, guys.
Evening.
Look at that coordinated dress, though.
Yeah, we're all very coordinated today.
Yeah, anyone would think we'd actually discussed this before we came on and all decided to wear the hockey shirt.
For those, I don't know, for people listening, this is going to mean nothing. But we've all bought the new Roundtable Christmas jumper, which I don't know. I don't want to be unkind and say it wasn't what it was advertised, but it definitely has a different feel to it than the Christmas jumper.
It's a generous fit as well.
You're going to fill it with all that turkey and beer, aren't you?
Yes. Maybe that was what they were going for. You know, it was like it starts off a little bit big. By the time you get to sort of like the end of Christmas Day, you fill it quite nicely, and it looks all right. I'm not quite sure how much turkey I can eat to fill this thing, but I'll give it a go.
All of them.
We'll all look like James Edwards by the end of it.
Easy.
It does remind me of those. Is it the squirrel suits that people can get where they jump off of, cliffs and they just extend their arms and it just flaps?
Flying squirrels.
Yeah, I don't think anyone should try that. But
the bingo wings would definitely catch the air.
Yeah, it's definitely generous, isn't it? I think. Yeah, I think we've all got the generous thing. Although round the collar, mine seems to be quite a little bit tight. The rest of it is very generous.
To keep the heat in when we're out with the sleighs.
It's quite good. I can actually get mine over the top of my ski jacket, so I'm nice and warm, and nobody's any the wiser.
So on the topic of sleighs, how have your sleighs all been going this year?
Well, we've only had to cancel one. Postpone it, should I say? We pushed it back to the 22nd. Other than that, I'd say it's been quite quiet. It's been a bit of a different sort of stale feel to previous years. I think since COVID, it's been quite, joyous, and there've been a lot of people coming out. Even I think more people through crap weather than we've had lately with the decent weather. So it's still, obviously it's still good fun. It's a good laugh dancing around like an idiot in front of the sleigh, giving loads of chocolates to kids and raising a few quid for charity. But it's just a quiet, more sort of subdued feel this year, I think. And I've been out with the Ulster sleigh as well as the Redditch one, and it feels fairly similar with them. It's still quite a quiet sort of experience. So, but
definitely, it's strange you say that, because we've kind of felt the same this year a little bit. We were a little bit slow on social media this year, and we have tried to sort of increase it, but it has increased and we've got more people out, but it does seem a little bit quieter to what it has been in previous years. I don't know if it's just the weather. I mean, we've had storms the past couple of weekends. I was out last night pulling the sleigh, and the wind was horrendous in Penistone. So, yes, weather's not been the best. We've had a lot of people waving from windows, and a lot of people, sort of commenting on social media and stuff like that. But yeah, it definitely seems a little bit quieter than what it has been in the past few years, definitely.
Yeah, I've got nothing to really compare mine to because it's my first Christmas season as a tart. But we've actually added an extra route this year because of the popularity and the engagement on social media. So we've added an extra one, and so far it looks so good, and we'll raise a good amount of money.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it? I know it's a great experience to be part of. Certainly for me, the best part of Sleigh season for me is it's not all about the money. Obviously, that's a nice bonus because we can put that back into the local community. It enables us to do it again next year. We've had a refurbished sleigh this year as well. It looks the best it's ever done. But the most important thing for me is being able to get out there and sort of see the smiles on kids' faces, the old people's faces that are waving from the windows because it's too cold to come out, and just getting out there and spreading that Christmas cheer and just having a good time with your mates while you're doing it and making a difference in your community. And yeah, I think it's probably, for me, it's probably the most important sort of event that we do. We do quite a few through the year, but Sleigh's the one that I sort of love the most.
Yeah, same sort of story with us in Redditch. We actually sat down a couple of years ago and said, what is it we're trying to do with the sleigh? We all kind of came together and thought, are we there just raising money for charity, or is it more? Is it just that we're taking Santa to kids in areas where they might not necessarily get a chance to see Santa any other time through the Christmas period? And, a byproduct of that is we raise a few quid. Or is it that we want to raise money? And everyone said, no, it's taking Santa to the places where they need to see him. We need to do that, offer that service to the community. And so that's something we stuck to, that even this year, when we know, excuse me, voice is going again, where we know we're maybe not going to raise a lot of money, especially in some areas, but we don't care so much, because as long as we've got enough to cover it, to put it on, that's what we want to do. We want to put it on, and we love it. Some of these areas are amazing, but even so, the other more affluent areas are just so quiet.
It is. Yeah. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because I've heard before that you tend to raise more money from the less affluent areas. It's almost like it's more of a struggle to get people to engage in those sorts of situations. But I think it's a massive thing. Like as a legacy event and a community event, and it's like I say, it's not just about the money. It's about the memories and I mean, I grew up in an area that had one, and it's a big part of my childhood. I always remember it just anchors your year. You just know that Santa's going to come past your street at some point. So I think you never underestimate that. Yeah, because I think sometimes we focus a lot on the raising money part as to be one of our biggest metrics, but it's not just that. It's that community
element. I mean, when I was back in England, the sleigh used to live on my drive when I was a kid, so for me it was great. But when you go out as a tabler in your late 20s and 30s, and you're knocking on those doors, and those people are saying, "Oh, I remember you coming around when my kids were 10 years old, and they're now 40, 50. So it's been going for that long. It's just that side of it and the joy that it brings to the community is just really, that's what makes it. It's just such a good thing to do, and it's unique to us as well. It's not something other tables associations do. It's an RTBI thing. So
yeah, it's been quite difficult for us as well this year, because we've actually had to drop a couple of sort of routes that we've done for a good few years, just because we don't have the volunteers this year to be able to actually make it happen. It would mean sort of having to put the routes on midweek, and that has a bit of a drawback in the fact that midweek, for the time that you want to actually capture the kids, people aren't home from work. Life's busy these days. People are working, trying to get home from work, making the tea, to actually be able to get out there supporting a sleigh midweek is really, really difficult. So we have had to actually hand off a couple of our sleigh areas to sort of the local sort of Rotary Club that already do it in that area. But it's amazing the amount of people that have been requesting it. Why aren't you coming to this area? Why aren't you coming here? Are you coming here this year? It's kind of a little bit sad that we can't, and hopefully we can, pick it back up in, years to come. It does make you a little bit sad that, people do want it. It's that sense of community that for a lot of people, it is actually, certainly before I joined Table, seeing the sleigh come up our road, seeing the little one's face, glow, myself as well. The fact that somebody was dragging a Santa around on the back of a car, playing music, it was tradition at Christmas. It is something that we always sort of did. We look forward to that. And I think that's that sense of community and tradition that a lot of people look to Round Table to be able to provide. And we are gutted in Penistone. We've not been able to actually put on a couple of areas that we normally go to. Obviously, we can't for safety reasons and stuff like that, lack of volunteers when we need it. But hopefully we can pick it back up. But yeah, you're definitely right. That sense of community and stuff that we get from being able to do it. That's why we all do it, isn't it? We go out in all weathers. We went out in the storms, not the weekend just gone, the weekend before, where the whole of the UK was under weather alerts, left, right, and centre, and we still went out. We luckily we were able to have enough volunteers, and it was not as bad here as what it has been in some areas, to be able to make sure that we actually got it on. And I think people really appreciate that as well.
We're going to move on to talk a bit about your respective tables then. So we talked specifically about the sleigh runs. So Andy, we'll go first with you with Redditch. So first and foremost, what got you into Table? What got you to joining Redditch?
What got me in the Santa sleigh, actually.
Oh, good. Oh, there we go.
Funnily enough, we used to chase the sleigh around the town, because every time it came to our area, I was always out. The wife was out, so we used to go and chase him down in other areas using the tracker. And we go with the kids, we go with the dog, make a bit of a night of it. Find him, follow him around the streets like some people do. Those crazy people. And then one year when we did it, I noticed my neighbour was dressed as a snowman helping the sleigh out. So I got talking to him and saying, like, what's all this about? Spoke to a couple of the lads who were out with a sleigh that night, and they kind of told me about it. And I thought, well, it sounds a bit of a laugh, do a bit of charity work, raise a few quid for the local area, but go out and have a bit of a laugh with your mates, do some sporting stuff and have a bit of a giggle. Why not? I'll come down to new members night and see what it's all about. And they haven't been able to get rid of me since. So, it's been really, really good. That's how I got into it. But also because I moved to the area, as so many people have done, moved to the area, didn't know anyone, apart from my neighbour, who I used to have a beer with, once a week and play pool with and what have you. So I just thought, well, if he's in it, it can't be all bad, can it? So I'll go and check it out. And like I say, the rest is history. I've been tabling ever since.
And how many members have you got in Redditch?
15. I think we're up to 15 now. I think we just had another new one
size,
join. Then. Yeah, there's 14 or 15. I think there's 16 of us in the group. The old WhatsApp group, but one of them's our president, so he doesn't count. But yeah, 15 at the minute. When I joined, I think there was 6 or 7 of us, and we kind of ebbed and flowed around there, like one left, one joined, one left, one joined, and then we had about a couple of years of 3 or 4 members joining and only one leaving. So it's made it quite buoyant now, which is cool.
And do you put on any other events throughout the year, or is this like the main thing for you guys?
We didn't, but we've started to recently. We've been recently invited back to helping a local carnival out, the Ashwood Bank Carnival, which is great because we don't actually have to run it. We just turn up, have a stall, do whatever we want with the stall, and we lead the floats around the procession. So that was the first thing that we started doing again, other than Christmas. Now with the floats, we'd take wheelbarrows full of the pennies, much like what's Raz's table again?
Lytham.
I can't think of the name of
Lytham.
it. Yeah, Lytham. They do the red barrows. Well, apparently Redditch used to do it years ago, and then we've kind of brought it back with the carnival. So we lead the procession out with the red barrows, give a bag of pennies for £1, and then people chuck loads of money in. Sometimes into the wheelbarrows. Sometimes they just throw it at us. It's all in good fun. Doesn't hurt at all. It's great. And we do that, and that's kind of one day in July. That's just absolutely amazing. Because like I say, we're a big part now of the carnival, and yet we don't have to run anything. So it's fantastic. Win-win for everyone. We've had a new member join last year who has immediately hit the ground running and started an Easter egg hunt. He's also looking to do a bonfire night, so doing fireworks and bonfire. So he's looking to put a business case together for our January meeting. So hopefully that will take shape. What else do we do? I think we do a couple of other things where we do like a quiz night in February and invite lots of local charities and groups together. So they all kind of intermingle. And then you win, I think, 500, 250 and £125 for your charity or group from the town. So it's a nice, easy way to give some money away, but it also gets all those people together and talking. And it's at a local social club, so it's nice and cheap if you want to have a drink. Not that we condone drinking, because we're not a drinking club.
You're telling yourself.
Well said. Well said.
It is nice though, isn't it, to see sort of like tables sort of growing and developing and getting more involved in, different community events and stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons I joined Table, to get involved in the community and stuff like that. And we in Penistone, we do a lot throughout the year. I think we're like the 6th biggest table or something like that in the UK. So obviously we do quite a lot with that, but it's great to see other tables sort of, getting involved in more stuff. We do gala, we do bonfire, we do Halloween. It's nice to see other tables, sort of growing. And that's kind of the message from Table this year, isn't it? To kind of expand, do more, grow and get involved in more stuff in the community. And that's certainly why I joined Table anyway, to get more involved in community and do more.
That's a good slogan.
It's like somebody thought of it, isn't it?
Somebody.
It is. Yeah, that wasn't pre-planned at all. I promise.
No, you're right. It is great. It's a big thing for a lot of us. We like to get involved. We like to do stuff. We like to help out, and we like not just our community but each other. So I know I've helped other tables before. I know Adam's got involved with stuff, and you just do. I think it's in a lot of our natures just to get stuck in and help people.
And come up with great ideas when you're drunk, like Round Table Rocks.
That was a good idea.
Yeah.
And
that was very good, to be fair.
Definitely a solid, yes, we should do this. I remember that. That's the only thing I remember of that night.
Let's do it again. I might be able to perform next time.
Yeah, I might actually be able to attend my own event next time. I missed it last time.
But we sent you pictures.
Yeah.
It was good fun. I've got like a few like snapshot memories of that afternoon, and one of them is trying to play one of the songs, and I think it was Raz was there, just constantly lifting his shirt up, trying to put me off.
That sounds about right.
But these are the memories we all love, aren't they? You know, that those completely daft and bonkers things that we do when we all get together.
Yeah.
So let's bring in Adam then and talk a little bit about Todwick. Todwick and Anston, isn't it? Is it Anston? Is that how you say
It's
it?
Todwick and Anston, yeah.
And Anston, yeah. I should probably get this right, considering I'm supposed
as soon as you're going to be our chairman next year.
I'm gonna get lynched before I even begin. So talk a bit about your journey in table and how you ended up in Todwick and Anston round table.
So originally, I'm from Maidenhead Table. I joined nearly 14 years ago now. Bloody hell! My dad was a tabler, so I grew up with it. My mum was a lady circler. So it was, I wouldn't say forced on my life, but it was that's what you do as a kid. You grow up, you associate with the clubs as the sort of family side of it. And I always enjoyed doing Santa Sleigh as a kid, helping dad out. And for me, it was just the natural progression to follow it in. So I joined. I didn't join when I was 18. I didn't take that route. I went off and did my own thing first, and then joined when I was 23. And I was in Maidenhead for a number of years. And then also ended up setting up London West End with Clarkey. And earlier this year, I got a job offer which for me, it was a good career progression. But they asked if I was willing to relocate to Sheffield. So that's how I ended up in Todwick and Anston. I actually live in that area. I'm not in Sheffield itself, so I'm just outside. So yeah, it was the natural place for me to go. I knew a couple of the guys, so it made it really easy to transition in. I'm now very much the granddaddy of the table because they're all youths.
They're all pretty young, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all young lads. So that's nice as well. I can, for me at the moment, it's perfect. I can, obviously with the international stuff, I can just go and be a member, but I'm there to guide them if they choose to do that, or if they ask for some advice. I'm happy to share what I hope is some sort of wisdom and not complete idiocy. So yeah, no, that's how I've ended up there. So it's good.
And there's a link here, isn't there? Am I right in thinking, Tris, that Penistone is their parent table?
That's right. So good old Zig and Zag. Good old Zig and Zag came along to our meetings, got involved with us, and from there they sort of set up their own table. So we massively support them in anything that they want to do. Kind of born from Penistone, if you like, and to the point where a few of us have actually gone along to their sleigh this time as well. I know James has been along. I was due to pop along last week, but unfortunately couldn't make it due to work. But yeah, it's great to see him doing so well, recruiting new members as well.
We've got one more sleigh night on Wednesday if you're free.
May well take you up on that.
Hint, hint.
Hint. Take you up. Yeah, I was due to go and drive, but I couldn't make it. So yeah, I will. I'll drop Zach a message and see if we can get the details.
So do you want to talk a bit about? So you have taken a step into international tabling.
Yeah.
How did you do that, and what does the role entail? And I don't know. Gives you a chance to give people the pitch to do more international tabling, because it's one. I think it's something we always. Yeah, there's something we should all try and do more.
So obviously, I mean, I've always done international tabling. I got involved. My first trip was to Italy in 2014. I won the travel bingo. So that gave me my first taste. And international tabling is just, I don't know how to, it's like national tabling, but just bigger. And obviously you meet tabling. One of the big things we do in table is you get to meet so many people that you never get to meet and do things that you don't normally get to do. And international is just a bigger version of that. It's obviously different cultures. You get to go to, if you choose to do so, you get to go to different countries, but it's also the way of doing it. It's not like just going on a holiday. It's, you mingle with the local guys. You see the local stuff you wouldn't necessarily see or get to experience when you just book with a travel agent, so to speak, like that. But also staying with these guys, if you're home hosted, it's just a really nice way to experience different cultures and have that personal touch. But also, you can take a bit of you with you. So like I'll always take a gift, and then you've got the reciprocal. So if you ever come into the UK, come and stay with me, and we'll do the same thing. And it builds a really strong personal connection, I think, with these guys that you meet and you do that with. It's not the same way that you do it just going to stay in someone's house in the UK. Because there's that cultural understanding and exploration. It's just that little bit extra, I find. The events are really cool. Obviously, they're huge compared to some of the events we do. Nations Night is one of my personal favourites. You get to go around and explore food and drink from all these different places, all in one location. Some people partake a bit harder than others and suffer for it. We've all been there, but yeah, it's like tabling on steroids, and it's just a really cool experience. How I became the CE chairman, so obviously I was the RTBI IRO, International Relations Officer, for 2 years, and I wanted to just give that little bit extra back because it's given me so much, and tabling has given me the confidence to do things like run events and project management, public speaking, and just the experiences I've gained and the friendships I've gained out of it. I want others to experience that. So one of the ways I thought I could do that was being a board member for RTBI, and try and get more people involved and share the experiences that I've had. And now the next step for me was logical to go to the region chairman, which is basically the international area. It's a sort of similar role to you, Sheppy, but obviously for Europe. So I applied for that, and I took what some people have called the Putin method, and I took out the opposition before the vote. So yeah, I was unopposed for the vote. So yeah, that's how I became the chairman.
The best form of democracy.
Yeah, it was the same when I became IRO as well, actually. Nobody opposed me there either. So
what would you say was the best international that you've been on, and sort of why?
The best one I've been on was probably... It's really tough because I've done some where there's not been many guys from RTBI, and then and obviously the first couple you don't really know anybody. You meet people, and then you do some really cool ones later where you know loads of people. So it's really tough. My personal favourite, I think, is probably the world meeting in Sri Lanka. Just because Sri Lanka's an amazing country. The weather was great, but the people there are so friendly as well. And it's just a totally different experience to obviously going to any other places like that. Even India, it's different from India. It's crazy, but it's not. At the same time, it feels relaxed. The people are amazing. The food is amazing in Sri Lanka. And it was just a really, really well-run event. And when you've got something like that as well, that just makes the experience so much better. And yeah, that was the first time where I met a lot of guys that are now long-term friends through Table, as my first world meeting. So probably that. And then closely followed by going to Kathmandu in February for the half-year meeting. Getting to go. I went into the Himalayas, I did a bit of walking. But also Kathmandu's a bit of a nuts place, but the event was just a really good event as well.
Oh, it's definitely something that's worth considering. I know, well, so I got lucky this year and won the travel bingo as well. So I'm off to where I'm off to. I should probably know where I'm off to. Going to France. in January for I think that's their half year meeting.
You're going to the CNR,
yeah, which is I'm really looking forward to it. I've been chatting with their IRO, the French IRO, and he seems really nice. And I've been on Duolingo ever since I saw that. I want to desperately try to brush up the French, even though I know full well that by the time I get there, I probably won't be speaking any French at all. But I was scared because they sent the pack through and it was all in French. I was like, okay, right, this is in like the French is like it's one of those languages where like they are quite defensive about their language.
Yeah,
so I thought
will always speak French first. They don't speak a lot of English.
Yeah, parlez-vous anglais? That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
They'll all go,
On.
oui, yes, absolutely fine. They'll speak to you in English.
But no, I was supposed to go to that last year and I had to cancel. But you will have some amazing food and some amazing drink at that event on their sort of area food night.
Yeah,
that's one of the highlights for me to go and explore is that one.
James has already told me that he went last year and I can't remember the exact words, but basically he got battered on the on the Friday night because there was some sort of regional I think all the regions presented the sort of food and drink that was local to them, and I think he just cleaned up basically by the sounds of things. So no, I am really looking forward to it. It is scary though. And I've done like national tabling as well now, so like I thought it would just be the same sort of thing, and I wouldn't be that bothered about it. But there is something about stepping on a plane on your own and going to a completely different country. So I'm apprehensive, but I am looking forward to it.
You'll have an amazing time. I will guarantee it.
Well, there we go. So yeah, if you haven't done it yet, and you have the time and the money to do it, because it's definitely some worthwhile experiences to be had there. Yeah,
100%. It just adds to that. People ask, what's the value of Roundtable and what do you get out of it? And I think that's just another thing that you can have. We try to keep the events fairly priced the same way as everyone else does. Travel can be a little bit more, obviously, depending on where you're going. But you will always, in my opinion, you will always get value for money at these events. So give it a go.
Okay, so we're 30 minutes in. We haven't talked about football at all yet, which is quite good for a football podcast. So let's talk a bit about your respective clubs. So we'll go to Andy first, because Andy is another Arsenal fan. We've got a lot of Arsenal fans in our groups, which is good. So Andy, talk us a bit about Arsenal and why you became an Arsenal fan.
Well, I'm the self-proclaimed worst Arsenal fan, I think, in table or in the world, perhaps. Became an Arsenal fan because it's been in my family for years. My granddad was Arsenal, my dad's Arsenal, I was Arsenal. So it was always something that I was just taught, from a young age, you're an Arsenal fan. And kind of, that was it. But it's great because they're not the best team in the world. So that makes sense, really. There was, however, I've been trying to rack my brains as to what year it was. I think it was the 93-94 season. I actually became a Tottenham fan just to piss off my dad and brother. So that went down really well. I made my dad buy me a Tottenham shirt. And I also bought the 7-inch 1981, I think it is, FA Cup song, which is... something like Ozzy's Army, or it was about Ozzy being on the way to Wembley because he was the manager of Tottenham that year before they realised he was shit.
Sheppy, how do you feel about that? And I know your feelings on Spurs, mate. And
I'm more impressed. I'm more impressed at the commitment to the winding your dad up that you went.
That is so serious.
Going to buy you a kit and a CD or whatever it is.
Well, yeah, the 7-inch.
That's
the
like
7-inch record.
Oh, sorry, it wasn't the C. It's even older.
That's like me becoming a Liverpool fan. I think I'd have to set myself on fire. That is some serious commitment.
Yeah, well,
really easy to use jumpers, mate.
Yeah, I really did it just to piss them off, and it was an interesting year. I remember it vaguely, But if it helps at all, my son has got me back with this because he told me when he first decided what football team he was going to support, he was Chelsea. And I've had to buy him a Chelsea shirt for Christmas the other year. Now, of course, he's got Arsenal shirts.
Production,
well, it's a bit late. He was 10 at that point, 11 maybe. So a bit late. But he's now got Arsenal shirts, so I'll let it go.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so that's why I got into Arsenal and Tottenham for a year until I regained my senses.
And what are your thoughts about this season? Happy? Not happy?
Well, I was happy. I'm optimistic as ever. I was happy. A little bit less happy then when Odegaard went off for a bit, and then he came back, and I thought, yes, this is it. Him and Saka, they're going to smash it. And then I got all pessimistic, maybe a touch of the Rich Hudson-Smith about it. Just thought, nah, nothing good's going to happen with Arsenal this year. And now I'm quietly optimistic. I think the tide's going to turn, and we're going to get back on form. Hopefully, maybe.
So I'm seeing quite a lot of sort of Arsenal fans that I'm sort of friends with. We see it in the round table sort of chat and stuff like that. A few people are sort of questioning Arteta at the moment and whether he's actually the right person to take Arsenal forward. I mean, I think he's done quite a good job, apart from on Saturday when they were that great and we were even worse and still managed to get a point away. But what's your thoughts on sort of Arteta and sort of how he's doing? Do you think he's doing enough, or is it sort of time for a change?
I think he's all right. I think he's going the right way. We've just got to bear with it still. I don't think it's time for a change. It pisses me off when teams go, "You've done nothing," but the team's steadily progressing, and then they get rid of a manager. I don't think they should yet. I don't think it's that time. I'd say give him another season and the rest of this one to see what happens.
I think one of Arsenal's biggest problems is and it's been a problem for a number of years now, is they don't have a proper out-and-out number 9 striker to put that ball in the net when they really need it. They're just that little bit too fancy sometimes, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they got Jesus, Gabriel, Jesus, whatever he's called. And to be fair, I thought, he's come in, he's going to be, our saviour, as it were. And he's done fuck all. He scores the odd goal, but he's nowhere near as good as you'd expect him to be when he came in.
He started pretty well, though, didn't he, when he first came in?
He did.
And
that's why you thought, oh, great, this is going to be it. This is what we've been missing. And then he just sort of went off a cliff. And he's never come back as long as he's just hanging on. Havertz is getting better, but he's not the number 9. He's back up. You're right. We need someone there.
I mean, there's a lot of set piece goals, isn't there, this season from Arsenal? They're getting a lot of very similar to Everton, to be fair, which is what kind of made Saturday quite interesting. Obviously, both teams didn't get that many set pieces, but they've got a lot of goals from set pieces, and I think you're right. I think they are missing that sort of out and out person in the box. That's if you can find them, they're going to put the ball in the back of the net. I quite like Arteta, obviously ex-Everton player as well. But I think it's kind of rare what Arsenal are doing in the fact that they're actually sticking with the manager. They're allowing him to build that team, pretty much like what Wenger did when he was there. And you only have to look at what's happening with Man City at the moment. And, they've hit a bit of bad form, probably the first time they've had this prolonged run of bad form. And the Man City fans are calling for Pep to go already. Is it just that they don't have the character to get back to the winning ways because they're not used to it? I think Pep will figure it out. Hopefully they'll stick with him. I don't know. But yeah, I don't like the fact that
just run out of steam. I think they've been working so hard for so long. They're just falling flat now.
Yeah, you see the injuries to the squad. It's just exposed them so much, hasn't it?
Yeah. But going back to Arsenal, you look at their set pieces and who's scoring. Was it the other week? I can't remember. We bloody played now. We scored a couple of set piece goals, and it was 2 defenders. I mean,
it was United, wasn't it? Saliba and Timber, against United, and then can't remember if we scored a set piece in the Champions League midweek, but they are the set piece thing is funny. I do feel like other teams started making a big deal of it, and then all the Arsenal fans cottoned on and started turning it into chants and stuff. So I don't feel like we're a set piece team specifically.
No,
I think when that team
for a couple of games.
Yeah, well, it's. I don't sign up to the whole Ange Postecoglou are not interested in set pieces, mate thing. It's a big part of the game where you can get a goal when you need it. So it's stupid to overlook it. But I do think we need number 9. The trouble is that number 9s are they're so few and far between. Like really good ones, the sort of ones that Arsenal would be looking four would be the top ones, and we'd have to be spending a lot of money, which I don't think we had last summer, really. After we'd bought, the other players we'd bought. Jesus isn't good enough. He's been injured. He's in and out of injuries all the time. Havertz is. I really rate Havertz. I think he's a great player, but he's more of a workhorse type. He would be great, I think, in an old school 4-4-2 setup, like with a second striker, like someone to sort of win those headers and not knock the ball down. Be the
Teddy Sheringham type player.
Sheringham type player. But do you know what I mean? Like I feel like on his own, he does struggle sometimes a little bit. Whereas you need, the modern number 9s are just really, they're super clinical, aren't they? Look like Solanke and like Haaland and people like that. Yeah. So I hope they go in for Gyökeres in the summer. I have a horrible feeling he's going to go to United now. Amarim's gone there, but he would be. I think Arsenal wanted him last season. In fact, actually, it was him or that Sesko guy who then re-signed for one of the Red Bull teams. I can't remember which one it was. They both look pretty good. But I don't sign up to the whole, let's get someone in January. There's no point. Mid-season, we may as well save resources, save money, go in big in summer. There'll be more players available in the summer.
So question for both of you then. So strong rumours in the Everton camp that Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be on his way in January, with Arsenal apparently having a pre-contract potential agreement with him. It's going to be between them and Man United. They've been sniffing around for a long time. What's your thoughts if that was sort of to happen? Obviously, he's going to be available at kind of a bargain fee because he's only got 6 months left on his contract. He's not firing for Everton this season. That doesn't really mean anything. We don't put crosses into the box. We don't. Literally, he's up there as a lone striker on his own all the time, having to hold up play. Everton fans are on his back about it, but realistically, we're not giving him a chance to actually score. If that was to happen, would you be happy?
Well, potentially, yeah. Depends if he can link up with, was it Martinelli and Saka getting the ball across?
For me, depends on the deal of the detail in the contract. If it was like a 2-year deal where we weren't paying that much as an outright transfer fee to Everton, and he wasn't on an astronomical wage, then actually, as a mid-season transfer, that would be fine. But if they're spending vast amounts of money on him, and there's going to be other players available, it's really tricky, isn't it? Because at what point does a player become a waste of money? And I always feel like these 80 million plus transfers. In fact, probably I'd say 70, 80 million up. You're looking at the potential to seriously burn a load of money on a player that might just end up being completely average when they switch leagues.
So rumour is 20 to 25 million max. His wage is probably stumbling blocks. That's the reason why he won't sign a new contract at Everton. We won't offer him the amount of money that he wants. And rightly so.
How much is he on?
It's about 120 a week at the moment. He wanted 150, and we weren't. Well, apparently we weren't prepared to offer him quite that amount. Understandably, he's not really hit the ground running since the Carlo Ancelotti season. But as a 20 million for an English striker who, being honest, as an Everton fan, he would do far better in your team than he's done for us. When Carlo was in charge, he literally said to him, stay in the 6-yard box. That's where you need to be. He got his best return because he was where he needed to be every time. The only times we ever get crosses into the box is when there's nobody else around because he's held the ball up and laid somebody else in to put the ball in. So he's not where he needs to be. That's on our tactics. I personally think for a team like Arsenal who are crying out for a proper number 9, he'd actually be a brilliant fit. And I'd be gutted if he goes. But I'd rather him go to Arsenal than go to a Man United or a Liverpool, or God forbid he goes to Liverpool. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I think he'd actually probably fit in at Arsenal with a team that actually puts the ball in the box. If he's in the right place for 20, 25 million, that's kind of a steal for an English striker.
Is he still on the England squad?
Not at the moment due to injuries. So last season he was pretty much out the entire season. I think he played like 3 or 4 games. Sean Dyche has got him back to fitness, but he's not scoring to get into the England squad because he's not getting the service. Every time he does get the service, he looks like he's likely to score. And we saw that in the Wolves game a couple of weeks ago. They were giving us 2 own goals, but if he hadn't been where he was and knocked it onto Dawson, who happens to be our joint top scorer with 2 own goals, that's how embarrassing Everton are at the minute. Our joint top scorer is a player that doesn't play for Everton. I think, he got a standing ovation from the fans because we recognised his, he got into the right positions. They would have been his goals had it not got a touch off the defender. I just think he deserves actually much more than Everton can give him at the moment with the negative play that we have. Personally, I think it'd be really good for you.
Well, it'd be interesting, won't it, to see. I mean, the thing that reassures me is that if Arsenal are legitimately in for him, the one thing we are good at the moment is doing our due diligence and actually, they do a lot of research into players. They're not knee jerk like certain other West London clubs that play in blue might be. But we are, they'll have him because he'll fit the profile of the club and the psychological profile and the skills. So I mean. Yeah, it's probably been the same line as like Trossard. Trossard only cost about 20-25 mil, I think. And I remember thinking, because that was when we were trying to get that Ukrainian guy. Can't remember his name. Went to Chelsea in the end. Mudryk.
Yeah.
And Chelsea ended up paying 70-80 million for him, and we got Trossard for 20. And Trossard just was just fantastic. So part of me does think actually you should be looking at these players that are possibly, stars for, not disrespecting Everton, but like teams that are lower down the league, as and taking them to the next level rather than maybe buying the most expensive striker that money can buy, which to be honest in the summer probably will be Gyökeres. But
it's about it, isn't it? It's about getting the best out of the players and making sure that you play to their strengths, and that's something we don't do. We all know Sean Dyche's tactics are a little bit. It's all about defending, as we saw at the weekend. We literally parked the bus for 90+ minutes, and fair enough, Arsenal were at the best in that game. But that's where we're at our best. We had, I think it was 1 shot the entire game, and it wasn't on target. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin played, 60+ minutes, and literally never got a sniff because the ball was never played up to him. He sat up there on his own. No striker can actually feed off that, trying to hold up play and get other people in there. I genuinely would be gutted if he goes, because I think we've built him. He's shown as well, under Carlo Ancelotti, that he can play well and he can score goals. Best season he's ever had. And then he got his injury, and we just don't play to his strengths. So I think it would be, good signing for Arsenal if they do. And to be fair, I'd be quite happy if he went there. Gutted he'd leave, obviously, but obviously Arteta, ex-Everton, I think you'd probably get the best out of him.
Right, let's talk about Watford. Let's bring Adam in.
We have to.
Yeah, we did. Well,
this season it's all right. I'm happy.
I had to actually check because I was like, I don't even know where Watford are in the Championship, mate. But you're not actually doing that bad. You're 7th at the moment.
I'm quite surprised. Still on our first manager of the season.
Oh yeah, because you're the manager America rap as well, don't you?
Yeah.
What aside from who's the? I've drawn a blank here. Who's the famous? Who was your chairman?
Elton John.
Elton John. That was it. I couldn't remember his name. I was literally like, you can see the glasses and the piano. Aside from obviously following Elton John, why Watford?
It's a bit of a weird one, really, because nobody in my family. Well, my parents were never really football fans. My uncle, an Arsenal fan and a Tottenham fan, respectively. And then as a sort of 5-6-year-old kid, the thing you're exposed to at that time is Manchester United are the champions. So that was sort of how I started out and follow it on the TV. My godfather was actually a season ticket holder at Watford, and at the time he was a shareholder. And he
Wow.
he said he'd take me along to a game, and that's how it started. So I started going in 1995, I think. I remember the first game, it was a friendly against Leicester, and we lost 1-0 back in the old Division 2. I think Leicester was still a Premiership then. So, yeah, it was my first game, and yeah, I've carried on ever since.
And so they're 7th at the moment. They are because I mean I guess so. Since '95, they've been in the Prem a couple of times, haven't you? Since or was it just the once?
No, 99, 2006
to 06.
So, yeah, four times now.
Yeah, 4 times. Yeah.
Yeah, 99 was the first season we went up. Yeah, because that was when we went straight from League 2 all the way through, or Division 2 back then, all the way through Division 1 and straight through to Championship playoffs, Division 1 playoffs at the old Wembley. Great day out that was.
Oh yeah, the old Wembley.
Yeah, it was the only time I ever went there for that game.
Great ground.
So you've seen them, watched them in the Premiership, watched them in the. I mean, they're in the Championship now, and
watched them in Division 2.
And in Division 2. So, you've had a chance to see them in different leagues. Which is the best? Which do you most prefer them in?
Do you know what?
Weird question to ask, because
I obviously in the last sort of 10 years where we got the outside investment and got a bit bigger and managed to buy the bigger players and years in the Premiership, it's fun to watch and you see some great players. But I still like being little old Watford. Going back to the days of when we had Robert Page at the back, Heido Helgeson up front, which is great players that worked hard, and it's our little club, it's our family club. We've still got our ground that for a while had 3 sides and has now finally got 4, but it's not one of these shoebox pop-up things that you see all these modern clubs buy, and it's still got its character. And that's what I like about it. I love the Championship. It's bloody frustrating being a Watford fan because of the inconsistencies, but I love the Championship because it's that league where you never know what's going to happen. You could just as easily get relegated as you could get promoted, and I'd love that about that level of football. It's still relatively honest. It's not too much rolling around like you see with some of these big high-flying guys. You still get the hard challenges going in, cold Tuesday night in Stoke, as they say. And I love that character of football. It's still, for me, it's still fairly honest. The money is in there now, but it's not quite taking it over, say, the level of the top levels of the game have. So for me, yeah, Championship's the league.
It's definitely a different. It's got a different feel to it, hasn't it? The Championship. I was really intrigued when James Edwards mentioned about the Fantasy Football Championship edition happening next year. Or there's one this year apparently, but I thought that would be really fun to do because I'd really enjoy the challenge of having my weekend ruined by Millwall versus Sheffield Wednesday on a Saturday and trying to explain that to people. But also it'd just be interesting to learn a bit more about players from other teams and you're right, it's like you don't know, do you? At the start of the season, there are some clubs that you kind of think they're going to be there or thereabouts, probably in the top 5
you've
or
got
6.
Your Leeds, your Sheffield United, teams like that. But anyone else, it's a total lottery. You can go on a good run of form, but also you can go on a bad run of form, and you're in the danger zone before you know it.
I've got a friend who's his son randomly, bear in mind they live in Essex, his son randomly picked Burnley as his club. So they go to Burnley at least once a year now. And last year I went with them. We went to see him Burnley play. I think it was Brentford. It was a terrible game. But that was, Premier League game. But now they're doing quite well in the Championship. And I got off to see him in, when is it, March, to see him play Norwich. So that should be quite a good game.
Yeah.
Did anybody see the goal against Norwich from the Burnley player at the weekend?
No.
No.
Unbelievable free kick. Honestly, one of the best I think I've seen this season by an absolute mile. It was from miles out, and literally, he just kind of took a step and hit the thing. I've never seen a ball move quite that quick, straight in the top corner. If you haven't seen it, honestly, check it out. It was fantastic, fantastic goal.
Absolutely, we have to look at that.
Yeah, I'll look at that later.
So Watford as well, and this has reminded me, is you say that the highs and the lows. You do have possibly one of the greatest moments in football to your name, which is that game against Leicester, wasn't it? In
the Deeney goal.
the playoff semi-final? Was it
playoff semi-final?
Second leg.
Yeah, I was there.
The most. Were you there? So there we go.
I was in the Rookery. Yeah, I was in the Rookery end when that went off. So I was behind the goal, and that was absolutely fucking insane.
I'm not surprised.
They've given us a few good experiences over the years. I mean, the playoff final in '99 against Bolton, Nicky Wright's overhead kick to open the scoring was a good one. That's on YouTube if you haven't seen it. The Troy Deeney goal, the comeback against Wolves in the FA Cup semi-final in 2019. That was an emotional afternoon. So, and then the final, let's not talk about that so much.
Did we play you?
No, City. 6-0.
Oh, City was it? I remember. Yeah, I've lost track of the FA Cup finals in the.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where City just turned it on, and it was no one would have touched them that day. I don't think it was.
I mean, always going to be a difficult game anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh well,
they've given me some good times over the years.
So, what are the chances of them going up?
I think we'll probably be maybe finish 7th or 8th in the end. We're solid at home. We're unbeaten at home this season. The away record is not the best. I don't know if we've got enough to get through the playoffs. Just because the goals are there, but we haven't got that clinical player. It's also, once you take away a few of those special players, it's an all right squad. It's a championship squad. It's a lot of work to keep it in the Premiership, and I think we'd get absolutely hammered in the Prem if we went up.
At least if you stay in the Championship, you'll get to play Wrexham and Wycombe.
Exactly. And Wycombe, a good old derby game for my old local area. Yeah, and of course, we've got one or two players that are sparkling this season. They'll be gone in the summer, no doubt. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, the squad's not good enough to stay in the Prem.
You got a number 9?
Yeah.
Asking for a friend.
Well, he's actually 19, but he scored 2 at the weekend. And he banged in 4 against Sheffield Wednesday.
Well, hey, always good.
I remember for a year I was a season ticket holder at Southend United, and I remember during that year we had one of the Watford, either a Watford reserve player or one of the fringe first team players was loaned out. Britt Sombalonga, I think it was. I'm sure. It was Watford.
Britt Sombalonga.
Yeah, he was good. He was very good.
Yeah,
he was too good for that league.
he paid for our new stand because we sold him for a fortune We sold him to Peterborough, and then they sold him to Borough. So we got a nice little number out of him for barely.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely wasn't League 2 level.
No.
That was.
He actually came back to us a couple of years ago. He did a 6-month contract. Wasn't the player he used to be. Yeah. It was last season or season before. It was season before.
It's quite quick.
He's quick. He's an absolute unit as well.
Yeah. That was. There's nothing that quite. We talk about Championship football, League 2 football, and being a season ticket holder of a League 2 club. That really tests your love of the game to the limit.
Oh yes.
There are times where you're like watching a game on a rainy Tuesday night, and it's 0-0 with about 80 minutes gone, and you just think this has got 1-0 away win written all over it.
Yeah. I've been to a couple of Charlton games with Clarkey. He actually came up for the Barnsley match back in, I think it was October.
Oh, I saw the pictures, yeah.
Yeah, me and James went, and conceding, it was literally 2 goals, one each side in like in the last 4 minutes or something stupid. And it was like, I would have been really annoyed if I'd driven away a bit for that.
It's the love of the game, isn't it? That's why.
Yeah, it is.
Right. Do we do the Christmas quiz then? The
Oh,
Christmas
God.
special. Right. I don't know how this is going to work. I was going to have to write these down. So
Wing it.
For those wing it. That's what we do every week. That's what every month.
Exactly.
Sorry. This whole podcast is a massive episode of just winging it.
Do we need to set a timer on the phone?
No, there's no timers for this one. This is
That's all right. I can't get that wrong.
It's always for fun. I don't know what you're talking about, Tris. We've never got it wrong before.
Yeah, never.
Consummate professionals.
So we normally do a quiz that is specific to people's clubs, but we thought because it's Christmas special, we'll take the pressure off and have a bit more fun. And also it means that Tris and I can get involved as well. So we're going to do a game called Tenable, which basically is you get asked a question or given a category, and you have to guess one of the top 10 answers in that category. So we'll just have to learn it as we go, I think, because it's one of those ones you get the hang of it as you do it. And what we'll do is everyone's got for each question we do, everyone's got one life. If you guess an answer that isn't in the top 10, then you're out. So generally speaking, it starts off easy and then it gets harder as the teams have gone through. So if you inadvertently guess a team that's already been guessed, I'll let you off because I can see them in front of me and you guys can't. So it's probably unfair otherwise. But we'll have a go. So the first one here, and this is something you can have a go at home as well if you know some of the answers. The first one is teams with the highest net spend across the last 3 seasons. So I don't know who wants to go first.
Hey, where are they based? Is this UK teams?
These are. Do you know what? It doesn't say. I've assumed UK. In fact, I've assumed Premier. You know what? It doesn't. I assume Premier League, but it might not be Premier League. Who knows? It's ambiguous.
Oh. Well, who's going to roll the dice and go for the foreign one then?
Come on, I'll go for the foreign one.
Right. Do you want to go first?
I'll take the plunge. I'm going to say Al Hilal.
How do you
Saudi?
Oh, Al Hilal. Are they?
Yeah.
Are they the ones that bought Ronaldo?
Bought Ronaldo, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Oh, that's third. Well done, Tris. I didn't even consider that outside.
That was
of the
a gamble. It was
That's
only
a
because
good
you
start.
mentioned international teams. And they've signed loads of massive players, and they all play in front of 30 people every week. So
I'm so impressed with that. That's such a left field start as well for the first guess. Right,
Shall I have a really random guess?
go on then. Right, Andy, you go next.
Into Miami.
Into Miami. Oh, that's.
I don't know because they're funny on their transfer fees in America, aren't they?
Yeah. So it could be losing their life.
Oh, it's not on there.
Oh, bugger.
Right, Andy's out. And again, don't go left field at the start. Go with the easier ones to start off with.
Watford.
Right. Adam,
On managers, maybe, yeah. I'm going to go play it safe, Real Madrid.
Real Madrid. Let's see. They are. Oh, they're not on there either.
Oh, no.
never. I honestly thought that. I thought that was a given.
Oh, that's shocking. Right.
You need that thing from, what's it, from Family Fortunes?
So Real Madrid not in there. I am shocked. Right? Do you know what? Real Madrid have gone through a period of a lot of their players they've got on a free, didn't they? I don't know.
Yeah, that's
apart
true.
from Bellingham, Mbappe cost nothing, and they bought lots of youngsters, didn't they? So So that's interesting. I'm going to go for a more obvious guess, which I can't believe no one else has gone for before now, which is Chelsea.
Yeah, I was going to say that, and I thought, no, it's too obvious.
They're probably top, surely.
Because they've sold a lot as well, haven't they?
Yeah, Chelsea are number one.
With,
It is. This was net spend as well. So yeah. So we've got Chelsea and Al Hilal. Andy is out. In fact, actually, it's just me and Tris. Right, Tris, it's your go. Let's get through this quickly. So we can bring the other guys back in. In fact, do you know what? Seeing as this is the first round, you guys can come back in. So Andy, you have another go. Don't pick a left field team.
Well, I think it's Tris's go anyway, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's a good point. It is Tris's go, actually, yeah.
Man United, surely.
Manchester United. Yep, second place. Right, Andy. Now you can have a go.
Did you say it was in the last year?
Last 3 years.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Arsenal.
Which I think is a safe guess.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty safe.
Arsenal are 6th.
Yay.
That is correct.
Great success.
Great. Right, Adam, have another go.
Liverpool.
Liverpool. Nope, not in there. You're out. You're definitely out this time. It is getting harder now, to be fair. Right, it's my go, isn't it now? I don't know who I'm going to go for. No, do you know who I'm going to go for? Nottingham Forest.
That's a good shout, actually.
Because they are 9th, which is fairly impressive. Who's hang on, I've lost track now. Is it you, Tris? Now?
I think it's me. I think
No pressure, but I think people are going to go out from now because these have got quite hard.
Newcastle
is not a bad shout. Yeah, they're on there. They are 7th.
Wow.
Oh.
Right, Andy.
I'm toying between two, and an international one or one of the northern teams. I'm going to go with the northern one, Man City.
Manchester City. Nope, not on there.
Oh, bollocks.
Right, it really is just me and Tris now. It's my go, isn't it now? Who spent silly amounts on players? I was going to say Barcelona, but they're broke, aren't they? They can't buy. Although they have still bought lots of players.
They're still buying players because they're being crafty with the...
I'm going to go with Barcelona. Because I think they're financially stupid. No, not on there. I'm out. Tris wins.
I've actually won something this year again.
Who else is on there? Juventus?
I'd say Juve or Inter Milan, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm reckoning Juve.
I didn't know if it actually doesn't tell you on here. I'll have to guess on a separate go. I did wonder about some of the Italian cards. And there's Bayern as well, but Bayern don't tend to buy that many
well, they buy Harry Kane,
really expensive players. Well, true. Right, okay. Wait, this one's not easier. Well, actually, maybe it is, depending on how good your knowledge is. Okay, so this one is most appearances with teammate Carlos Tevez when playing in the Premier League.
Jesus.
Oh, God.
Most appearances with Carlos Tevez. So that could be... Well, do you know what? I'm not going to give it away, but he played for more than one club.
Yeah.
So...
Who's he played for?
I think that would be telling.
It's Cristiano Ronaldo on it.
Cristiano Ronaldo, I think, is a good guess.
I can't remember how long he was at United.
He's not.
Oh.
I'm shocked.
Crash and burn on leg. Well, this is going to be hard, I think.
I thought this would be really easy. I thought we'd just name United players and it would be bad. But yeah, okay, all right. Chris is looking really worried.
A little bit.
Should I go next?
Late for.
I'm going to go with Wayne Rooney. There's got to be United players in this. Oh, I'm out as well. This is right. I'm a most pretty. Right, no Rooney. Right, I'm out. Right, it's just on you two now.
Okay, I'm going to
Chris, you wanna
say,
go next.
given the fact that you've gone for United, he played for Man City as well, didn't he? I'm going to go Gareth Barry.
Well, that's a good shout.
Gareth Barry.
So he had like the most like
Gareth
Premier League
Barry, yeah.
appearances, didn't he? And he was
Yeah, it was that era as well, wasn't it?
similar I can think of from that sort of era.
Oh, Tris, what an answer! Number one, top answer.
never. That was one hell of a punt.
I was trying to think of players
Barry.
from that City team, and I couldn't get one.
I think that's this gives a bit of a steer now for you, Andy. I think you need to. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Oh, Jesus. So we're thinking City players from a season I can't even think of.
Yeah. That one.
God. I've got no one. No, I'll just go with the only Man United player that is in my head right now. Well, there's two, but one of them I think was too long ago. The other one I think is probably too recent to get it, but Maguire. Harry Maguire. Come on, he's got to be good for something.
I think he's going to be too recent. I think he was
Potentially
playing for
be a bit too
Leicester
recent, yeah.
when. He's not on there.
Yeah.
Mon Dieu.
There's got to be. Annoyingly, it doesn't give you the answers. We'll never know who it was.
Should we have another go round?
Barry. We can have another go round. Yeah, go on. It's.
I've got one in my head now, and I'm not sure if it's the right time. Wayne Bridge.
Every you want to do Rainbridge? Hang on. It's,
Wayne Bridge, yeah.
I can just hear everyone screaming into their speakers right now.
My boss would be really good at this because he was a season ticket holder at City at that time.
Ooh,
Right,
Bridge.
you reckon Wayne Bridge?
May have been at Chelsea at that time.
It's around that time he switched, wasn't it?
Actually,
He's not on there.
No.
I'm going to go with Vincent Kompany.
ooh, that's a
Because
shout.
he was at City for ages. Yes, he's number 2. Nailed it. In fact, I'm going to add Gareth Barry back. Right.
It's not back to me.
It's I think we're all back in now. So technically, it's Andy. Don't guess a Leicester player. It's not him. Any Man City player, I think.
Kevin De Bruyne.
I reckon he might have been.
I think that's a bit early.
Young.
Oh, come on, not
Too
again.
recent.
I can't even spell his name. That's not a good start, is it? KDB. No, not on there.
Okay.
Who else was? I'm trying to think when Carlos Tevez was actually in that Man City team.
Joe Hart.
Oh, that's probably.
Oh, Joe Hart.
I'm then completely out of suggestions.
We've now
Give anybody else.
That's the fourth top answer, Joe Hart. So that's pretty good. Who was the who was Vincent Kompany's defensive partner? Was that a Russian guy? Am I imagining that? Can't remember.
Nah.
I can't remember.
Can't even remember who the other. Was it Mika Richards, the City right back at that point as well?
Could be a
I'm going to
good.
put him in. Mika Richards. This has stopped being a competition, and this is now a team effort. I've decided. This is just way too hard. I don't know. I don't know anyone else. I'm trying to think who else was in that City.
David Silva.
City? David Silva.
That might be a shout, actually.
David Silva. Yep, he's on there. He's number 9.
I was there at that time.
Oh, I've just thought of someone. Mario Balotelli. Although I was slightly worried that he wouldn't have been there for long enough.
I think that might be a little bit late.
You think he was afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's not on there.
I don't know if he was there long enough, but just going on when he was sold from Everton. Julian Lescott.
Well, yeah, that's not a bad one.
He definitely played in the same team. But
He was alongside company a lot, wasn't he?
Yeah, he might not have been there long enough.
Yeah, he's on there. Trish, you're really good at this game.
Seriously?
You're really good at this game.
That was a punt and a half. Jesus Christ. That was just going on when he actually signed from Everton.
I don't need to take score to know that you'd definitely be winning. Should we try a different one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. This one should have some more obvious answers to get us going. Then I think we'll do this and then we'll wrap it up. Right. Teams with the largest capacity stadiums in Serie A.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is a lot more doable than the last two we've had.
Can Adam go first again?
If you want me to.
Serie A.
Right, go on, Adam.
Are we naming the stadium or the team?
Just the team.
Oh, Inter Milan.
If you want
the San Siro
bonus point, you can name. Yeah. Inter Milan. I reckon they are top.
I think that's the biggest.
Oh no, it's not the biggest.
Oh, okay. I think I know what it is.
Serie A.
Yeah. Right. Do you want to go next, Andy?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to be Juve.
Juventus is a good shout.
I've got another name in my head, but I don't know if they're Serie A.
Yeah, Juventus are 7th.
Jesus.
I'm gonna on the piggybacking off of Adam's answer. I'm gonna go AC Milan.
That's just a giveaway, isn't it?
Yes, they used to say, and I think they might be number one just because they got an A in there. Yeah, they are.
Alphabetical order.
Exactly. Yeah. Right, Tris, come on.
Lazio. I'm trying to think of Serie A teams. I'm not doing very well here.
Lazio.
I'm going to struggle.
They must be. They're Rome, aren't they? Yeah, they're 3rd. Adam, you're next.
Okay. I'm not sure if they share the same stadium as Lazio, but Roma.
That's a good shout.
Stadio Olimpico. That's a big one.
This is going to get. This is where it starts to get difficult. Is it my go now? No, hang on. It's Andy's go, isn't it?
Yeah. Sampdoria.
Ooh,
That's left field.
didn't think.
Yeah. It's the only other Serie A team I can remember.
Are they still in Serie A?
That's what I couldn't remember.
Good question. They might not be, but they're not on the list anyway.
Balls.
But so I'm going to go with. Is it my go now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
So I'll go anyway. I'm going to go with Napoli.
Oh, that's what I was going
That
to
was
do.
my next one.
And now it gets really hard. Assuming they're on it. Yeah, they're on it. Right. So we've got 6, 8, 9, and 10 still to figure out.
Is it my go?
It's your go, yeah, Tris.
I think this is about the limit of my knowledge of Syria. Fiorentina.
6th. We've just got 8, 9, and 10.
Jesus
Oh, that's tough.
These are going to be difficult, aren't they?
What we got so far, Sheppy? The Milans,
AC, Inter, Lazio, Roma, Napoli, Fiorentina, Juventus.
Okay. I'm trying to think who's top of Serie A now.
If we're playing as a team, I think I might have one more.
Parma.
Oh, that's a good guess. That wasn't the one I had either, but they're not on there. They must be.
Must be.
Can't be that far off.
What are we in the 40,000?
Well, Juventus. I thought Juventus had a massive stadium, but they're only the 7th biggest in the league. So
The old one was bigger, I think.
Right.
I can't think of any more teams anyway.
I've got one that I could guess, and that's Atalanta.
Genoa.
Because when Arsenal played there, their stadium looked pretty big. Oh, not even on there. Right. So, okay, I'm out as well. No idea. One that we missed, possibly, Bologna. Yeah, Bologna's on there. Bologna are 9th. So then...
Cagliari. Because they're on the island, aren't they? They're the only...
Did we already guess Genoa?
No, I don't think we
We
did.
said it. I don't think we wrote it in there.
I can't think what the name is, but
Yeah, Genoa. Genoa are 10th. So we're just missing 8.
There's a team in Verona, isn't there? But I can't for the life of me think what they're called.
There's Hellas and there's Chievo, but Chievo aren't in Serie A at the moment. That was who.
It's Chievo. I think I was thinking of. I didn't even realize there was 2.
Oliver Bierhoff.
Didn't even realize there was 2.
Well, I think we might have to just chalk this one up to we'll never know. Because I feel like I've put all of the entries in that are in the Serie A table in front of me, and we're still missing number 8. But that was a pretty good effort, I think, for the last go. So, as with all these quizzes, no idea who won that. Probably Tris. Tris
makes a change. Jesus.
We'll call that fun to an end. We'll proclaim Tris the winner, and we'll move on.
Time for everything.
Should we have a recount?
By your luck more than judgment.
He's very, very good at understanding Man City from about 2008 to 2012 or whenever it was.
Mainly because they bought most of the Everton players.
Right. Well, as always, thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time this evening. It's been great fun. I hope you've had a good time, enjoyed yourselves.
Yes,
as always.
We will, firstly, to say Merry Christmas to everyone listening. Thank you so much for all of your support this year in the podcast. We're rapidly approaching 200 downloads, which is fantastic. I think we're currently at 197. So we're hoping to be there by New Year. So that's great.
So 3 people, please download it just so we can get
at least 3, please,
before the end. Yeah. Just so we can get to 200 before 2025 starts, because that would make our Christmas, I think. Well, partly.
So I hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas this year. We'll be back in the new year. We've got an episode planned in January where we're going to talk about Chelsea, and unfortunately we're just going to have to take our medicine and have a good chat about Chelsea. Not the episode I thought it was going to be, actually, because I thought we were going to be talking about finance and that side, but actually they are probably one of the best teams in the country at the moment in terms of their performances recently. So very interesting. We'll have a chat about Chelsea, so thanks, gents, for coming again, and we will see you all in the new year.
Cheers, guys.
See you all later, boys.
Yeah, guys.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.